So I'm in a bit of a weird dilemma with this particular set of, I guess you want to call them essays. I just call them mostly pieces of garbage because Mauler has that dilemma of the broken clock issue. Namely, okay, like 90% of these videos, and yes, I've actually watched them. And yes, I've watched them. The Star Wars, the MCU ones, and all the way through. And boy, but occasionally he says something coherent and rational with his Game of Thrones videos, for instance. And we now face Antman 3, so I can't say Antman 3 is one of the greatest things in the universe. That would be, to me, not true. On the other hand, is it one of the worst MCU films? I mean, is it really going to be on par with Iron Man 3, Thor 2, so on and so forth, or Endgame and Infinity War, which I do rank as some of the worst of the MCU? I have doubts there. That said, I would have to be forced to agree with him on many, many things he's going to raise. So let's start off with kind of destroying Ant-Man's character, kind of not destroying the character.
People who can sometimes miss out through fear, apprehension, or misjudgment on what a situation could truly mean. Makes a bit of sense that he would pop that in his book, as it's reflective of his life, and it even references his power. Though, is Scott Lang the kind of character who would write a book about his life? Well, I imagine it's quite the incredible story to tell, and it might just inspire some people along the way. Maybe Falcon could have figured that one out and made some money with a book. But oh well.
You've got to do—
No!
Sorry, that's me. Why is jail calling?
So it turns out Cassie Lang, Scott's daughter, the little girl from the first and second movie, not only aged about 10 years more than the character she's playing, she's been recast and thrown in jail. I understand.
So from Endgame, apparently, Scott has gotten very famous, he's making some good money, and writing this very problematic autobiography cashing in on his fame. Is this complete character assassination? No, but is it close? Yes, I think it's very close to destroying and nullifying the very few good things about Endgame, which was the Ant-Man character. At least at the beginning, he seemed actually very interesting, rational, coherent, seemed to have very understandable problems and issues, and then, like the rest of the characters, start taking massive stupid pills and destroy the story. You know, for a while, Ant-Man was actually pretty good. And now we learn, apparently, he's just been a prick and a jerk and just getting rich and famous. And hypocritically say, standing up for the little guy, which is a cute reference to his Ant-Man powers, but not really doing anything. What's really strange here, though, is Mauler is actually, oh, this is good, because he's concentrating on being a good dad. Why would that matter? Why does that matter at all? I don't know, and when he tries to explain it, I'm like, huh?
Oh, you know, just jail stuff.
We have indeed discovered that Cassie is in jail because she got involved in a peaceful protest that was being displaced by tear gas. More on that in a sec.
I did find this, though.
No. She didn't, because if she did, oh no.
You shrank a cop car? What were you thinking?
What was I supposed to do? Look the other way? They were clearing out a homeless camp in the middle of the night.
You thought that destroying a cop car would help the homeless maintain their camp on what I assume is grounds they are illegally fucking with? Did they still have education after the snap? And
this is where the bad Mauler comes out. Now, in terms of criticism, he is like CinemaSins. Namely, there isn't any. But, like CinemaSins, occasionally a valid point is raised. Some of the jokes are fine. You should treat it as clown entertainment. The dilemma is, CinemaSins just does clown analysis, which is to say, no analysis at all. However, occasionally the clown says something interesting and valid, and you have to say, well, clown made a good point. And Mauler does make a good point here, too, that this is really a radical shift for Cassie, the daughter character. We need a little bit more about why Cassie changed so much from the prior version from Endgame, which I thought was at least building up to something interesting, and apparently they just took that and just threw it all away. However, what we won't be doing is becoming a Nazi clown, because he's saying, oh yeah, well those homeless, well presumably they should have been cleared out. Why? Why are you saying this? I'm not taking a stance either way. I do think there's something very suspicious about Cassie just becoming an activist overnight. That seems very suspicious to me. And it does seem to be skewing the narrative a certain direction, which is like, okay, I don't think that's a good idea. Unless it's something like Oppenheimer, where you're going to be upfront that this is going to be a very political project. I think it's not wise to be so brutally frontal with your politics. However, I don't see the reason we should take the POV of the police. Why are we doing that? If you're being objective, which clearly he's not, then that doesn't make any sense. But let's say this is just partisan analysis. Even if you're partisan, why are we doing that at all? Just be neutral. You could just say the whole thing is stupid, which is what I would say. This whole scene is stupid. But nevertheless, this is the beginning of the film, so maybe later it will be explained or made coherent. But no, by the end of the film, it still stands as a pretty stupid scene. So yeah, a lot of stupidity in Ant-Man 3 starting out, but we'll have to look at the whole Mauler video. And again, I'm only looking at the very beginning because I'm watching this live. So we'll have to wait and see if this is, as usual, his moronic alt-right ideology masquerading as some deep, profound philosophical take on modern cinema, which I've usually doubted for a long time. And this is no exception.